What is field operations? When I think about this topic, I really try to envision the key components, but also how the field operations work on a project site so that we can really understand how the different things flow that you need on a construction project. So in this video, what I'm going to do is talk to you about the 4 key components and then draw it on the visual behind me to show you how all different types of information and resources should flow over to the foreman and the crew, which are the ones who make us money in construction. If you're into that, stay with us on this video. All right, so I absolutely love this topic. When I think about field operations, I typically envision the main concepts of what it takes to plan a remarkable project that's listed in the book Elevating Pre-Construction Planning. So let me talk to you about those right now. The first one is the team. And I know you're all thinking, hey, J Money, like this is pretty simple stuff, but when I think about field operations, I really think about you typically on a project site, and especially on a mega project, and especially like on a campus or a data center, you'll definitely have a core team, okay? And so these operations are here to make strategic decisions and enable the overall project site. A lot of times then, outside of that core team, you'll either have individual projects or one of my favorite topics, functional areas. That means you have a project manager, a superintendent, and you have the team within and dedicated foremen to control either a project or a certain geographical area on a project, and it has its own supervision and you're literally ready to go. Within this functional area, a couple of things that I really like to focus on, and I'll draw hearts. Don't be bothered by that, but we really want the functional area or the project team to be working properly. But one thing that I want to discuss as well is that the superintendent, he or she, has got to make sure that the team of foremen are literally super united and aligned. So these folks don't work for the general contractor, but literally they are extensions of each other. So the superintendent is an extension of them, keeping the rhythm, shaping the environment, and the foremen are an extension of the superintendent and the general contractor executing work. So this team is absolutely huge. But let me talk to you about something else here. Each foreman will go and work with their individual crew, however many people there are in the crew, right? But we don't want individual crews, so I'll just draw a little semicircle there. We want everybody on the job site to be playing for the same team. And so it's important to build the wider group of workers and foremen, and we do that in the worker huddle. So you might be thinking, Jason, this isn't field operations, but it is. The first thing that you have to do is make sure that all of your teams are functioning. Core group, project or functional area team, your foreman team or your last planner team, and then everybody on the job site. Paul Akers talks in his book 2 Second Lean and throughout his other works about the concept of total participation. It doesn't matter if these teams are functioning if we don't have everybody participating together as a group. Remember, see as a group, know as a group, and act as a group. The other thing from a field operations standpoint that we want to talk about is the plan. And this again is listed in the book Elevating Pre-Construction Planning. Now, when I talk about this, I want to discuss a couple different deliverables. And I've talked about this before, but you're going to have your master schedule, right? This will have your milestones, and it will have the basis of your overall strategic plan. Okay? From there, milestones are taken and we do a pull plan. And you've heard me talk about a pull plan before. This is where the trade partners come together to create a collaborative sequence in order for the trades to have what they need done as predecessor work, and so that we can take care of successor trades, and that the sequence is complete, realistic, and it really works for the entire team. After that, we have what's called a production plan. Now this is genius. Once you do the pull plan, you'll literally be able to, and I'll just draw a single phase, you'll be able to create a phase of work, but with buffers at the end. And this is your production plan. Okay, this is typically on a day by day, and this is how everybody produces, okay? And the last thing that I want to say from a field operations standpoint is that from here, and I'm going to write this with letters. You'll have your look ahead plan, your weekly work plan, and your day plan. I've talked about all of these in other videos, which we will link you to in the description below. But from a field operations standpoint, we must have our strategic planning. We must start to collaborate with boots on the ground. We must have a production plan, which becomes our target. And then the look ahead is for trades to visualize, make ready, look ahead planning. Weekly work plans are for commitment, and day plans are for execution. So from a field operations perspective, you can see we've got strategy here, right? We start to do the pull plans here with, oh my gosh, this is so good. Pull plans here with our trade partners, and we use the production plan here, and then the look ahead weekly work plan are created, reviewed, and used by the last planners, and then the day plan goes to the workers. So when we think about field operations, we have to keep that in mind. Now, another thing from a field operations standpoint, and this is a big lesson that we all know about, but that I learned specifically from World War II movies and biographies and documentaries, is that logistics really, really do matter. So when we have this plan, and I'll just go ahead and draw this in my typical tact format, we must make sure that ahead of each of these activities inside of our overall production plan, that we have our procurement. And what I mean by that is that we have the information, the materials, the equipment, the labor. Now, I don't consider people resources, but we do have to pay for that. So everything needs to come to the project site in a supply chain, okay? And at the end of that supply chain, we need a buffer. That way we don't have workers waiting on work or workers waiting on materials. So in addition to the team and the plan, we also have our supply chain. Now, one of the last things that I want to say from a field operations standpoint that anybody can take tomorrow and use, and hopefully you like it so much that you like this video. I want to talk about the environment just really quickly. And the environment really is key, and I'll tell you why. I am like General Patton when it comes to the environment. So this is the site, right? This is the trailer. I want this to be safe. I want it to be clean. I want it to be organized, right? The environment, and actually let me do this, and happy. I want there to be good morale. So when workers and foremen come to the project site, clean, safe, organized, beautiful, operationally stable, logistics is organized, everything has a place and everything is in its place. Great culture, good communication, nice wayfinding signage. I am General Patton about this, meaning I am not open to other opinions, I am very strict, this will be done. This is the ultimate form of respect for people on site. When it comes to people, I've said in previous videos, I'm like Simon Sinek and Brene Brown. So I am all love, all vulnerability, all connection with humans, but those humans, in order for them to even connect, have to have the right environment. It's just like if you're going home to a dirty or a clean house, right? Obviously, if you have outer order, you have inner calm. So when I think about field operations, again, team plan, the supply chain, and the environment, these must be in place for the field to operate, okay? Because again, flowing through these teams, we have the different plans, and if they have the materials and the right environment, they can all succeed. So I'm going to put this into a nice little visual for you and turn it into a blog post because we just love doing that. But I do want to say, if you want more about how to do this, check out the book, Elevating Pre-Construction Planning. I really hope that you will check out that book and implement on your project site because you have a great plan. So that's what field operations are. I hope you've enjoyed this video. On we go.